I'm Mike Harber, and as you can tell, things look a little different tonight. And that's because we're in the Christmas season, and we just wanted to take a minute just to thank all of our viewers, our friends, our family, our clients, all the law firms we're working with, and all the defense guys and all the insurance companies. Merry Christmas. And I don't need to give you a disclaimer tonight. I'm not going to give you any legal advice. What we wanted to do is something a little bit different. So to just say thanks to all of you and to some special clients of ours that have a few things to say about how we help them, and kind of a surprise guest from somebody that you all will probably recognize. So with that, let's hear what everybody else has to say and how we've helped them throughout this past year, just a kind of a fraction of the people that we've worked with. So let's hear from some of them.
So you were recently, and you just mentioned that you ended up with an issue yourself, a car accident. Was it your fault? Somebody else's fault?
No, I was driving back home from my part-time job, and I was sideswiped. I've got a little Nissan Leaf, if you recall that car.
Mm-hmm.
Just driving, and this guy just decided he wanted that lane, and apparently didn't see me and sideswiped me and took off, hit and run, right?
Oh.
And I called the cops, made a report, all that kind of stuff, and went through the claims process. They were really good about that whole process until I said, hey, I think there's something called diminished value that, are you guys covering that? And they said, oh, no, can't, no.
Which,
basically,
and I think it's okay to say which companies, but which
Mutual of Enumclaw.
Mutual of
They
Enumclaw.
they were great in handling the claim. It was all perfect until the question of diminished value came up. And then it was just, well, sorry, And I said, I don't think so.
Well, it's interesting. You just brought up a very good point, though. On an uninsured motorist claim, and I've been preaching for years, make sure you've got uninsured motorist property damage on your policy.
Yeah.
Best bargain there is. But there's an important part of that claim that some people don't realize. And I've got a lady right now I'm trying to help. She didn't call the police.
Oh, wow.
And it's a State Farm claim. They were actually hurt, completely disabled their vehicle. They ended up in a ditch.
Wow.
And just, with all the trauma, probably overlooked calling the police because I think they had an ambulance and everything else. And State Farm's denying their claim.
Wow.
Because you have to have a police report on an uninsured motorist claim within 72 hours. Otherwise,
okay.
Yeah. So you did the right thing. So anyway, right. So Mutual of Enumclaw then has denied your claim, and they're one of the few companies that we recommend as one of the better companies, but they still denied your diminished value claim.
Correct. Yeah.
So tell me what.
So I remembered your show, and I started looking you up to see if I could find you, and I did. I called you up and said, well, I don't recall the exact discussion, but long story short, if you want to, have some kind of documentation on the value of your diminished value claim, you got to do an appraisal. So $375, it was a lot of money, but I thought, well, it's worth it if I can, get some of that money back. And so that's what we did. And you warned me this is going to take a while, and it did. It took about a year. But long story short, I just got the settlement off for this last Thursday.
Now, this actually was one because I referred you over to an attorney because
Yes.
you were getting nowhere with our assistance, and so you ended up with an attorney, and this turned into a class action, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And another victory for the consumers in our state. So not only were you helping yourself and having good representation, but I've always told people on these class action lawsuits, what you're doing is you're stepping in and you're helping everybody else that got the same runaround.
Well, I asked Steve, the attorney, I said, how many people are in this deal? He says there are about 2,200.
Really?
Just for Mutual of Enumclaw.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks. So
Well,
thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and because we've started doing the show again and we're doing them live, and the last two attorneys that have been on one of them, and we're still editing it hasn't come out yet, Erica Eversman, and one of the things that she said, I asked her, what would you say to the public, to consumers? And she said, don't be a wimp. She said, don't
There
give
you
up.
go. Yeah.
And, you know, and so I guess that's what I would even say to you, because it's so
Yeah.
easy just to kind of back down and think, well, it's
Yeah.
not worth it. Or, you know, some people just believe the insurance company when they say, well, we don't pay for that, or it's not recognized in the state of Washington. And that's just not true.
Not true.
No.
Exactly right.
Not true. So, well, hey, thank you so much. Any last things that you would like to say, recommendations to the public? I mean, you've been through it now. I mean, so you're a veteran.
I would say that anybody who's asking, make sure that you have an insured motorist, right?
Yes.
And also don't give up, because, you know, keep persisting. I had several letters and a lot of communication that was leading me nowhere. But now that this case has been resolved in court, in the process, it still has to be approved by the judge and such. I would say that dealing with mutual Enumclaw would probably be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, again, they are.
Everything else has been great.
Yeah. Well, they are, you know, and they typically are one of the better companies. It's surprising sometimes how, you know, even the good companies, you
Try
know,
to cut costs.
yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. No, it was great. And so I also tell people, do the appraisal through Mike, because you did a really nice job. It was very detailed in your background. It was a very impressive report. Obviously it worked.
Yeah. Well, Lance, thank you so much. I thank you for the kind words. You know, I know you probably don't want to have to work with me again, but,
nothing personal.
but we're here for you.
I wasn't. My daughter was in the motor vehicle accident in my car.
I see. Okay. All right. And so you recognize that your vehicle may not be worth the same amount of money it was worth before the accident. And so you started doing a little research about diminished value. Is that how we ended up meeting up with each other? Oh.
I didn't know anything about diminished value. I had never heard of it. It was my daughter's attorney that had her approach me. She said, you know, my attorney said that you should look into the diminished value claim. And I actually got your name from her attorney.
Oh, okay.
I knew nothing about it. And the thing is, it's not widely known, because, you know, I've talked to different friends and they didn't know what I was talking about. So,
you know, FYI, the first Supreme Court case in the state of Washington on diminished value was in 1908.
well, how come nobody knows about it?
Because the insurance industry has kept this covered up all of these years. They've kept it silent. I was the expert in the Supreme Court case, the most recent one, which took 15 years, and it was concluded in 2011. And since then, I think there's been a little bit more publicity about it. It's become a little bit more well-known, and I've been very outspoken. And part of what I've done too is I do a talk show called CrashTalk. And that's one of the things that, you know, it's a big topic, diminished value, and just making people aware. So when you notified the insurance company that you were going to be making a claim for this loss, did you get any pushback, or were they just open arms and just said, yeah?
Well, actually, I did not approach them. What I did was I talked to you guys first, and, you know, I got the report. I got the verbiage that you guys recommended I used. I did that. So I just sent an email directly to them. So that was the first time they had heard, you know, me doing anything. And I sent it. This was like back May, I want to say May 5th, May 6th, I sent it. Your company said they should respond to you within, I believe, 14 days. And I didn't know if it was working or business, so I just chose working business days. I waited, nothing. So I waited for a little bit. I sent it a second time. Waited the 14 days, nothing. That's when I got back a hold to you guys, and that's when I think his name is Don Lathrop. he said, okay, I'm going to send you something. So he sent me another letter with the verbiage, but he's also included in there the insurance commission. He said, you're going to need to file a claim against them. So I did. I used the verbiage and sent the email to the commission, and I let them know everything that I had done before, and I just waited to hear. It was just like maybe a few days. That's when I heard back from Travelers. I mean, they were on it. I mean, she actually called me. She didn't even email. She called me, and she was very apologetic. And they said they couldn't find anything that I emailed to them. I said I emailed you twice from two different accounts. So it's like, okay. So I emailed it to them, and then she got right on it.
So did that then get you the settlement that you were satisfied with, or did it take more? Did you have to go back and forth and negotiate?
No, I didn't get the settlement because the settlement was for the amount that you guys put in the report was $4,100 and some odd dollars. What they sent me back was $2,500, and she was trying to say that it was something about they couldn't give you more than between $1,500 and $2,500. And she said she had given me the top of the scale. And it's like, I wasn't buying it. And I wasn't going to jump at it. You know, people jump at stuff like if they need money or if they're broke. Well, you know, I'm not broke. I don't really need money. So I ain't had nothing to do but fight. And that's what I was going to do.
Good for you. Good for you. And so did they raise their offer?
They raised their offer. Don, he sent me an email. He said, it's up to me as to the amount to request, but he suggested I ask for $3,000 to $3,500. I asked for the $3,500. In the letter, the verbiage was, can you at least come up and give $1,000 more? And that's how we got to the $3,500. They gave me the $3,500 with no fight or anything.
Well, that's good.
They sent the email back, and she had it set up so I was able to actually receive the money within an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, it's something I've been interviewing. Matter of fact, I did an interview today with a law firm, and I interviewed an attorney out of Cleveland, Ohio, a couple days ago, Erica Eversman, and I've kind of asked the same question of both of those in different ways. And Erica's comment was to consumers: don't be a wimp, don't give up, fight for what's yours. And Paul, the other attorney that we just interviewed, basically said the same thing. I mean, the insurer's duty is to pay as little as possible. And if you just, like you said, if you just give up and go away, then you didn't get what you really have coming to you, because your vehicle really is not worth what it was before. So, and so many people, I think they're so reluctant because it sounds almost like free money, or it's like a windfall, which it's not. But when an insurance company tells them, well, there is no such thing, or we've already paid for your car, and they try to get them just to give up, I guess what would be your advice to other people out there that are trying to consider what to do?
Just like you said, don't give up, and don't allow them to lowball you.
Yeah.
You know, you continue to fight until you get what you're satisfied with. Because they definitely tried to lowball me. Hell, they tried not to even respond to me.
Well, see, and that's one of the things that they do is they just hope that you'll just give up and go away. If
I was not the one. I wasn't giving up. I wasn't going away, and I was not going to be lowballed.
Right. Well, one of the things that I usually try to tell people, because sometimes people will say, well, what's the guarantee? What's the promise? And it's just like, well, I can never promise or guarantee what an insurance company will do. My promise to any potential client that wants to work with us, my promise and my guarantee is nobody will work harder for you than us. And so your experience with us, it sounds like it's maybe been since May or whatever. It's taken a while.
Right, right.
But what have we lived up to our promise to you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I honestly believe if I had not gone through your company and actually received the report, I could see where an insurance company say might just jerk a person around that's doing it on their own. Now, they never knew that you were actually continuing to help me. They knew that I had the report, but they didn't realize. I don't think they realized that I was continually getting support from you, getting verbiage from you. Had I tried to do it by myself, I don't think the outcome would have been the same.
Yeah.
I think I'd still be fighting.
Yeah. Okay.
Hell, like I said, I couldn't even get them to respond to me. I had no idea that there was an insurance commission. And it's like, once that went to them, it's like they really jumped to it. But
Yeah.
I never would have known about the insurance company and a commission had I not gotten that from you.
All right. Well, Cheryl, thank you so much. I really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Hopefully you don't need our services again, but we're
Right.
here.
So Jonathan Hillstrand, got the Time Bandit. Sometimes you'll see me on Discovery Channel. Anyway, I wrecked a car. It was a brand new Corvette. I had my insurance company. I'm not going to name names, but they said, "Oh, it's very little damage." I go, "No, it's the whole front end was ripped off, and actually the frame was bent, and they said it's only be this much money, and they wanted me to take it to their shop where they wanted to take it, and I said, no, I want to take it here too. I want to take it to a regular GM dealer. I don't want anybody else doing it except GM, and you have the right to do that.
Yeah.
And that was before I met Mike Harber. Anyway, then they said they were going to fix it, and I said, I don't think you can weld the frame and stuff on the car and then give it back to me. This is a high performance car, and I called Mike Harber, and he did all the wiring and did all the working for me, and he got me all my money back and a little bit more. But I would have never. They would have tried. And you should see pictures. Mike will show you some pictures online of what this car looked like. It was so tore apart. I mean, the drivetrain, the engine was out, the whole front end is gone, all the electrical. I mean, it was ridiculous. The airbags went off. The dashes. It was just, this thing was totaled. But they did not want to total it for me. They wanted to do it as cheap as they could and give me this car back. And it would have never been right. And anyway, thank God for Mike Harber, and people have rights they don't know about. And
it was amazing when I went and looked at this, because it literally, the front end was ripped off of the car.
It was.
From what I think what you explained to me is you were trying to make a turn, and as you made your turn, you got hit, kind of T-boned on the front end of the vehicle by a truck, right?
Yeah, and it just ripped the whole front end off, man, like, literally. And then the police came, and they pushed me off the road with their car. It just crunched a little more, but like what you've been telling me, like some people, it's their only form of transportation, and they bend them over the rail, and they got 2 kids at home, and they're working, and they have no vehicle. Yeah. And they end up settling for nothing. And that's what they try to do to me. And they waited as long as they could, months. And then Mike came in and finally got me what I deserved. And it was a brand new car. I deserved another brand new car, Yeah. I didn't deserve this thing. And then my resale value on a vehicle that's been wrecked that bad, it's worth half. It's not even worth half of what I paid for it at that point in time. I have this insurance, really expensive insurance that should be cover me for all this in case you do have an accident. I mean, no one wants to have an accident. That's why it's an accident. That's why we're paying, they got all this money to put these commercials on TV all the time. That's all you see is insurance commercials. If they didn't have all those commercials, your premiums would be nothing. Think about it. Well, they spend $500 million a year, Geico, on insurance. Yeah. I don't know name names or anything, but all of them do that.
Yeah.
State
well,
Farm.
Actually, that's one of the things. That's one of people, when people ask me about, what insurance company do I recommend? I usually will say that the ones you want to stay away from are the ones that have the great big ads on TV, because they're spending all advertising.
Yeah, there's. I mean, how many? At least 500 million. I mean, you can't be on TV every day, all day, 12 times a day, and not. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's. I don't know. That's probably 5 million a day or something. I mean, in every state, on every TV channel, it's got to be an astronomical number. Maybe you know that number, but that don't help our premiums.
No, and they don't give you a break when it's time for you to pay your premium either, do they?
No, hell no.
All right.
So,
All right.
anyway.
Well, so, and I know you can't give any details, but are you gonna be back on the
Elias Cat. So
That
stay tuned, and then
that's not public knowledge.
it is now. I just said it.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, I can.
No, you can't.
I can do that. I just did it on Mike's podcast. Never know what you're going to see over there, but I was back last year on the Saga, so who knows? You never know what I'm going to do. So, anyway, stay tuned.
All right. Well, I know you got a huge following, and everybody enjoys listening to you and everything that you go through. I thought it would just be good for you to be able to let everybody else know that what people go through with these insurance companies is not just individual to them. It's not just a one-time thing. I mean, that's just pretty much the way claims are handled. They want to fix them. And you had a brand new, very expensive Corvette, and they wanted to force the repair on you. And it wasn't the right thing to do. It took us 60 days to get them to finally agree that it was a total loss.
And you still got the payments. I mean, they don't go away either.
Right.
And so, anyway, just call Mike. That's all I'm telling you. Call Mike. That's what I'll leave you with. Captain Jonathan Hillstrand out. Just call Mike. All right. Thanks, Mike, for everything.
Thank you, John.
Okay, buddy.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from some of the folks that we've worked with in the past. And Jonathan, Captain Jonathan, what a character. We've got pictures to show his vehicle. Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable. And so anyway, I hope you can spend some time with your family and your friends. Keep your mask on. Keep your distance. There's a lot of Zoom parties going on this year. Things are so different. Can you imagine a Zoom Christmas party or even a Zoom family meeting? Stuff under the tree. I don't know how you do that with the mistletoe, but I don't know. Maybe you can figure that out too. But anyway, hopefully, let's hope and pray that 2021 is going to be a better year. I think maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccines and everything they're talking about. I hope, as the saying goes, that light at the end of the tunnel is not a train. Anyway, Merry Christmas. We will look forward to seeing you all next year. And we'll have, at our normal time, we'll just do some music and some different things. So anyway, thank you so much for the support you've given to Harber Appraisal. We always appreciate cards and letters, emails. Anyway, thank you to you and your family. From us, all of us at Harber Appraisal, we wish you the best.